simpler than that.
Trade war showdown. Trump goes fast and furious with tariffs as high as 50%. China retaliates, Trump saying he's open to striking deals with countries contradicting top White House aides who said tariffs are no bargaining tool. Wall Street tumbles further at the Friday open after a $3 trillion wipeout in the previous session.
TikTok is big, but every point in tariffs is worth more than TikTok. So in order to get China to do, maybe I'd give them a reduction in tariffs as an example. Sounds like something I'd do.
Tariffs as leverage in a TikTok deal. President Trump says China could get a breather from its tariffs, but that's only if Beijing approves the sale of the app. TikTok faces a ban in the US if it doesn't find a non-Chinese buyer by April 5th. Amazon and the founder of OnlyFans are possible suitors. The US jobs report way better than expected. March saw nearly 230,000 jobs added. Unemployment ticked up only slightly. Analysts warning that the pain is yet to come as they look ahead to April's jobs numbers that could see the impact of Trump's tariff moves. Battered Democrats taking comfort in the victory of a liberal judge. Susan Crawford won the Supreme Court race in Wisconsin, defeating conservative Brad Schimmel. Schimmel was backed by Elon Musk, who pumped in over $20 million into the race. The result secures a 4-3 liberal majority in the swing state's Supreme Court. And this week, seeing high-profile hirings and firings. Director of the US spy agency, Timothy Hoare, is said to have been dismissed after claims by a far-right activist that Hoare was disloyal to the president. Meanwhile, controversial TV celebrity doctor and surgeon Dr. Oz has been confirmed by the Senate to lead Medicare and Medicaid, which comes under an agency that oversees the healthcare of millions of Americans. To the week's biggest story, President Donald Trump's salvo of fresh tariffs targeting over 185 countries across the globe, including US allies such as India, while the tariffs exempt essential and strategic items such as pharmaceuticals, semiconductors, and energy products. It left US allies and foes in a fix. China has retaliated with 34% tariffs on US goods, and in Canada, Prime Minister Mark Carney has hit back with 25% duties on certain US vehicles as US auto tariffs come into effect. I'm now joined by Rodrigo Balbonton. He is a former World Bank consultant and currently closely covers trade for a think tank here in Washington, D.C. Rodrigo, the world is moving towards a full-blown trade war. China has announced tariffs, like we mentioned, 34% on all US imports in retaliation. Who is the real loser, you would say here, the American consumer or the ones sitting in China, or for that matter, elsewhere in the world, in Chile, Canada, or India?
The world economy is the biggest loser. Probably the first loser is the American consumer. There are already signs of diminishing growth perspective, both from the world economy and the US economy. So who is the biggest loser? I don't know specifically, but the world economy in general, it's going to be smaller than it could be due to these tariffs.
All right, Rodrigo, what are your bets on the US slipping into a recession?
It's more likely than before, but it's not certain. So some expert has estimated the increase of likelihood of recession. For example, Goldman Sachs before the tariff announcement increased the likelihood to 1/3 or 35%. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be a recession. It's more likely, but not necessarily that it's going to be a recession.
All right, now, after we heard from top Trump aides on how tariffs are not a bargaining tactic, President Trump says he could negotiate with countries. He cited China as an example. Basically, if China lets up on, say, selling TikTok to a US buyer, he could spare Beijing from those punishing tariffs. What are your expectations?
So the executive orders signed by President Trump on April 2nd have an entire section on how tariff can be modified, whether modified for more tariff or lowering the tariffs. So there is a room for negotiation for sure. And that's signed by the president in the executive order. That's section 4 that delegates the authority for reviewing these tariffs that are just announced. On top of that, and this is relevant for India, for example, there are some products that are under investigation, such as pharmaceuticals. So the fact that some products are exempt now, that doesn't mean that they could be tariffs to those products later.
Right, so if I understood you correctly here, you do expect Trump to negotiate, the US to negotiate one-on-one with all these countries, be it China, be it India, but certainly that's going to be a lot of work to have these unilateral deals with all these countries, or bilateral deals.
For sure. USTR, the trade authority, the United States Trade Representative, is not the biggest agency here in Washington. It's not small, but it's not. I don't think that they will have the capacity to negotiate different trade agreements with more than 100 countries. But what is for sure is that these tariffs, and this is also reflected by the market reaction. It's a reflection of a starting point of either escalation for more tariff or a negotiation to lower these tariffs that were announced, but definitely it's not the end point. So whether they have the capacity to negotiate one by one, or the tariff will be higher or lower than were announced, that's uncertain. But what is certain is there is room for negotiation at bilateral level from the United States with third parties.
All right, Rodrigo, President Trump hopes his tariffs will get the U.S. back to its heydays of manufacturing to the 70s. What would you say? Would the U.S. be able to see that in the next few years, given that setting up a factory, for example, sometimes would take decades really to get done?
Yes, I think there were some experience in the first Trump administration that were expecting that tariff will ensure some manufacturing. But for example, Caterpillar, to serve third markets, decided to open a plant elsewhere. So that's this tariff on the one hand doesn't necessarily ensure that manufacturing will be relocated to the United States. And that's only on the supply side, but also we need to take into account that on the demand side, the United States will be a smaller economy than it will be without this tariff. So there will be less consumption internally. So that also will affect basically local manufacturing production. So there is no certainty that this tariff will work to revamp manufacturing.
Right, this is a story that's going to be here for a while. You're going to be closely following it, as so are we. Thank you very much indeed for your time joining us here, Rodrigo. In other news, now Wall Street extending its tumble at the Friday open after a $3 trillion wipeout in the previous session, which had markets seeing their sharpest falls since the early days of COVID. However, gold hitting all-time highs this week as investors look for a safe place to park their money. At a neighborhood jewelry store in the state of Maryland, a similar gold rush as well. Gold prices have rallied nearly 20% since the start of the year. Geopolitical tensions like the war in Ukraine or Gaza for that matter, a big reason why prices have increased, but a big one, Trump's tariffs, that's stoking fears of a recession. A possible recession in the US, the world's largest economy, means more people flocking to gold, a safe haven asset. As far as demand goes, how much would you say demand has increased?
I would say at least 10 to 20% increase just in the last 3 months. We're getting a lot of first-time gold buyers a lot of new customers. Obviously, we're breaking records with where the gold price is, and so people are becoming aware of that.
What are people saying to you when they come in?
There's a lot of uneasiness in this world, a lot more questions than answers, and I think when that happens, people are looking to diversify. If it's jewelry that you can wear that stores wealth, if it's gold bars, it's something that you can physically hold and you can trust what you can see. I think gold is very easy to purchase. You understand the value of it, the weight of it, and it's also very easy to sell.
Because of the tariffs, other things going on in the US, I would say it's a really good time to buy gold.
So the challenge is like, I have money, I don't know where to invest it right now. Everything seems pretty risky. So I think gold is more of a secure investment. I invested in stock at Bitcoin and I got beaten up pretty bad.
So you're going back to gold?
Yes.
Trump's tariffs have spared gold. The spot price of gold sitting today at around $3,100 roughly. But analysts at ANZ, for example, predicting that price could go up to $3,200 in the next 6 months. Some at the Bank of America saying the price could touch $3,500 in the next 2 years. We've seen the tariffs announced now. Are you anticipating more people coming to your store and demand increasing further?
I think as long as things remain as they are, it's volatile. I don't see the demand going down.
Gold, like any other investment, is not risk-free. Analysts say that yes, indeed, it is a safe haven, but prices can be volatile. What goes up will come down. In Rockville, Maryland, Allister D'Souza, NDTV. Let's get you more on how Trump may use TikTok as a potential bargaining tool. Trump has floated the idea of tariff cuts on China if Beijing agrees to approve the sale of TikTok here in the US amidst these trade tensions and a looming Saturday deadline for TikTok. Is a deal even possible for TikTok? This report by Disha Bakchi.
TikTok. With the looming ban hours away, time is running out for TikTok as the Saturday deadline could see the popular short video app being banned again. But that scenario seems unlikely, with President Trump expected to swoop in as a savior for the platform yet again. Amid a flurry of speculation about the possible buyers for the app, Trump has signaled that he could give China a reduction on tariffs if Beijing agreed to a TikTok deal.
Maybe I'll give them a little reduction in tariffs or something to get it done, because every point in tariff is worth more money than TikTok. If you think every point, tariff is a much bigger world and TikTok is big, but every point in tariffs is worth more than TikTok. So in order to get China to do, maybe I'd give them a reduction in tariffs as an example. Sounds like something I'd do.
So what are TikTok's options amid the looming deadline? While Trump cannot overturn the law banning TikTok, he could push the ban yet again to reach a deal through an executive order. Another scenario is that China pushes TikTok to close its operations in the US rather than agree to a deal. Trump is also reportedly looking at leasing the app's algorithm from Beijing-based owner ByteDance, wherein a new US entity led by software giant Oracle would own majority stake in the platform while ByteDance retains a minority stake. The final scenario is that a buyer is finalized, a deal that would require the Chinese government to give up core technology of the app, a condition that is unlikely to be met. The race to acquire TikTok is heating up. Amazon has submitted a last-minute bid, while a separate group led by OnlyFans founder Tim Stokely has also entered the competition. Software company Oracle is one of the front-runners in the race so far, but many others including investment firm Blackstone, American YouTuber Mr. Beast, AI company Perplexity have also made a play. While top US officials remain concerned about TikTok's Chinese ties, Trump appears determined to preserve the platform with 170 million US users. Yet, the reality of settling the future of TikTok's US businesses will require much more than just a finalized deal. It would need to satisfy Trump, Chinese officials and ByteDance, a condition that will be difficult to reach. Disha Bakchi for NDTV World.
Let's now turn to growing angst amongst H-1B student visa or even green card holders who are Looking to travel overseas, the nagging worry, what if on their return they are denied entry into the United States? Recent reports of people being detained at airports and land borders, of people wondering about the do's and don'ts. Let's get a sense of what might be prudent and what might be overblown things that you perhaps shouldn't worry about. I'm joined by immigration attorney Niranjan Adhikari to help us get some clarity. Niranjan, thanks very much indeed for your time. Niranjan, first up, is it a good idea for H-1B visa holders, student visa holders, green card holders to carry fewer electronic devices on their re-entry, or even if they should be deleting photos or WhatsApp before they arrive in case immigration officials ask them to hand over their devices?
Right, Allister. Electronic devices, the government has authority to search your electronic devices at the port of entry. You can carry your electronic devices, but you should not have any content which kind of questions your purpose or intent to come to the United States. For example, if you're coming as a student, your sole purpose has to be here to study, right? So if you have any photo, any sort of video communications or audio communications or even WhatsApp messages, which can so otherwise, meaning you're coming here to work and whatnot, then that could be a problem. So therefore, you want to avoid that kind of content in electronic devices. There are some best practices some immigration attorneys have advised, which is to lock your phone because otherwise they can do sort of remote access to a device. So lock your phone, turn off the devices at the port of entry. If they ask you to hand over, you can do that. It's just that you don't want to contain any sort of questionable material in your device.
But they can ask you to turn your phone on, right?
Right, at the time, yeah, if they're inspecting.
All right. Okay, now lots to get through here, so I'm going to move on to the next one. What sort of questions should non-citizens be prepared to answer at the airport when they arrive from a trip from overseas?
Typically, the immigration officers at the port of entry will ask your purpose of visit, your duration of your visit, how you're going to fund your stay, and where you're going to be staying at, where you're going to be visiting if you're coming as a visitor. For a student, obviously, they will be asking about where you're going to be residing at on campus or off campus. If you have an address already, you can provide that. They may ask you a question about your study, what program you're studying, what university, what your start date is. So you should be prepared to answer those questions. For any returning resident, if they have been outside for longer period, they should be able to explain if they have been outside for family visit or if they had any sort of medical emergency would let them to extend their stay beyond 180 days, then they should be able to explain it. But
Okay.
if they have been outside for 1 year or longer,
let's say that they haven't been away for over a year or 6 months. We would generally need that re-entry permit. But what if someone is just want to play it safe? For example, a green card holder that's just gone away for maybe 1 or 2 months. Should they play it safe, like I said, and get that re-entry permit so that they get this hassle-free walk through right into the United States without getting into any kind of trouble with immigration authorities?
right. It's not necessary. If a green card holder has been only outside the U.S. for 6 months or more, but less than 1 year, you don't need a resident permit. The same green card can be used for entry into the United States, but you'll be considered seeking an admission. Unlike when you enter within 180 days, then you'll be considered as a maintaining a legal permanent resident. But if you have been outside for more than 180 days, but less than 1 year, the same green card can be used to return to the United States. But you should be prepared to answer questions regarding your permanent residency, how you are maintaining your permanent residency, for example. But
all right,
I mean,
very,
again,
very quickly, running out of time here, Niranjan, but I really want to get to this last one because how much does the port of entry matter? There is some suggestion on immigration forums that picking an airport in a blue state like California might be a safer bet.
Actually, there is no such, I guess, guidance I would provide. The reason is that I read CBP recent notices. Actually, they deported number of people in New York, for example, and they have deported number of people in different other port of entry. It's not a blue or a red states, but rather, I guess, you should be prepared I think there are some approaches. I guess some port of entry are more experienced with dealing with the immigrants versus others, so they are more prepared. They can ask the right kind of question. But you should not be fearful about what airport to choose and things like that.
Thanks very much, Niranjan, for joining us here this morning. Now, despite flexing his financial muscles, the world's richest man, Elon Musk, did not get his wish. In the swing state, a key one, that's Wisconsin, a candidate that Musk supported has lost. All of this taking place amid reports that Musk might quit Doge. So what's the future of the Trump-Musk Bonhomie? Disha Bakshi takes a closer look.
After months of living on a high, the Republican Party has faced its first political setback in key state Wisconsin, as Democratic-backed Judge Susan Crawford beat conservative rival Brad Schimmel in the Wisconsin Supreme Court race, the most expensive judicial election in United States history. The loss hit Trump loyalist Elon Musk particularly hard. The Tesla chief sunk $21 million into flipping the Wisconsin apex court to Republican control, only to see his candidate defeated by 10 percentage points. Musk shot the state judicial race into national view, claiming that it would decide the trajectory of not only the United States, but perhaps all of Western civilization and the future of the world. Yet it seems Musk's money muscle failed Republicans, instead pushing Democrat turnout. Liberal Judge Susan Crawford used Musk's involvement to her advantage, making the race about the voters versus the billionaire who she said was trying to buy election after election. The Wisconsin race was a litmus test for Musk and his slashing of the federal government, with the billionaire even traveling to Wisconsin 2 days before the polls to personally hand over $1 million checks to 2 voters. Yet the loss signals a warning for Republicans that Musk's growing unfavorability with the public could be a liability in the midterm polls next year. Despite the defeat and growing anger among Republicans, US President Donald Trump has no intention of cutting ties with the world's richest man, even though he has also foreshadowed Musk's departure in the past 2 weeks.
He is. He's amazing. No, I mean, as long as he'd like, I like smart people, and he's a smart person. I also like him personally. I would say Elon will stay for a certain period of time, and then he's going to want to get back to his businesses full time.
For now, the fate of the Trump-Musk Bonhomie hangs in balance. With Disha Bakshi, Bureau Report, NDTV World.
And before we wrap up, time for just one last story. My bad, says Barack Obama, after the former president photobombed a family taking pictures of DC's beloved cherry blossoms. The family was busy framing their shot when a familiar face accidentally walked into the background. Addressing the kids in the picture, Obama wrote a comment saying, "Preston and Belle, I hope you enjoyed peak bloom. My bad for stepping into the shot." Now, DC's cherry blossoms attract visitors from near and far each year. Here's more of what I found when I took my camera to capture the cherry trees. No Obama sightings, but it was worth the trip. A true sense of awe, nature's beauty on full display. DC's famed cherry blossoms are a yearly spectacle, usually coming to peak bloom in the last week of March and the first week of April. Over 1 million visitors come here to enjoy these stunning beauties.
I'm from Delhi and I like cherry blossom. It's really pretty. I'm especially come for that.
Oh, for me, cherry blossom has always been the favorite tree for me. It reminds me of the resurrection, the serenity and peace and calm for me.
So the first cherry trees were gifted by Japan to the United States as a symbol of friendship. This plaque here telling you when it all happened. The first cherry trees, March 27th, 1912. The nearly 4,000 trees that you see here today around DC's many landmarks are an offspring of those originals.
I'm from Pennsylvania, and we have my nephew and my niece there from North Carolina.
You know, it's like it comes once in a while, right? So it's worth seeing it. Like, we don't have it in NC, so I think it's beautiful. I like it.
They are so nice. This is like the only place you can see them.
I've been here previously for the cherry blossom. It's very beautiful.
But worth making a trip over and over again?
Yes, definitely. I would definitely say come over again, yeah.
And here's one tip for all you visitors. Don't pluck the flowers, don't break the branches, don't climb on the trees because it's an offense and could land you in trouble. For NDTV in Washington, D.C., Allister D'Souza.
What they don't tell you about getting older is how much fun it can be. Enjoying all the things you've worked so hard for. Spending time with the people that really matter. Not to mention, finally finding that precious time for yourself. I don't want anything taking my best years away from me, but like so many people, I've seen the heartbreak that dementia can cause. That's why I'm asking everyone to order this essential free guide from Alzheimer's Research UK. It's called Your Brain Matters. We all know what's good for our heart and our lungs, but do you know how to keep your brain healthy too? Well, this guide tells you how, in 7 steps you can start taking right now, whatever your age. Just ring the number on screen to get your free copy. Inside you'll find facts and tips that can keep your brain healthy and help reduce your risk of developing dementia. It's advice you can really trust from leading dementia scientists. Read it, keep it, and check back whenever you need to. Order your free copy now. Call Alzheimer's Research UK on 0800 035 5984 or text BRAIN2 to 78866. Think of it as another way of planning for your best years, because your brain really matters.
He woke you at 4 a.m, but he is making you lunch. Oh, is that the sound of your heart bursting? Of course not, it's the soup exploding in the microwave. But love is stronger than soup glue, so is Plenty. It's 50% more absorbent and has compostable sheets for your compostable messes. One sheet does plenty.
Did we?
Yes, we did.
Professional monitoring?
Activated.
This summer, leave your worries behind. Protect what matters to you with SimpliSafe Home Security. Systems start from under £200 with a professional monitoring plan. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
At Direct Line, we know that for multi-property landlords, sometimes the tiniest of things can turn into way bigger problems. From niggly contract issues to keeping up with ever-changing legislation. That's why Direct Line's landlord insurance offers a 24/7 legal helpline as standard. Because a call with someone could help to make the hairiest of problems feel that little bit smoother. Search Direct Line Landlord Insurance. We're on it.
For Monu, every step is agony. But he's forced to carry heavy loads and bricks up narrow, steep flights of stairs, hour after hour, day after day. Life can be cruel and short for hard-working donkeys like Monu. With little food, water, or rest, they must keep going no matter what. Crude harnesses cut into their flesh. Horrific wounds and injuries go untreated. And when they've given all they can, many will simply be abandoned. You could help us treat more sick and injured donkeys. We won't stop until each one has a good life. But we can't do it without you. So please call 0800 035 9305 or text STEP6 to 78866 and give £2 a month. Your help will be the first step towards a better life for brave donkeys like Monu.
It feels good knowing that your future's in hand. Evlo can offer you a loan from £1,000 to £15,000. Get your conditional decision in minutes.
Well, that's clearly a project that brings so much hope to so many people over there.
We're going to take a short break. Up after that, the big fight with my colleague Maria Shakil. Maria, you're up next.
Hello everyone, this is The Big Fight and I'm Maria Shakil. In a post-midnight push, Parliament cleared the Waqf Amendment Bill 2025 after an intense debate in the Rajya Sabha. The bill secured passage with 128 votes in favour and 95 against, following its earlier approval in the Lok Sabha, where it saw a tighter contest with 288 MPs supporting it, while 232 opposed it. Though the legislative battle is over in Parliament, the political storm around the Waqf bill is far from settled. In Bihar, the issue is expected to remain a hot topic well into the run-up to the state assembly elections later this year. Then there are elections lined up in Bengal, Tamil Nadu and Kerala in 2026. All these states where the battle lines are sharp between the BJP and the opposition, where this legislation is bound to develop a lot of chatter and narrative. And keeping its vote bank on mind, Mamata Banerjee opposed the Waqf Amendment Bill, MK Stalin did the same, and CPM and Congress both declared the legislation as anti-minority and anti-constitution. We have an all-MPs panel on the big fight tonight, but first up, let me bring in former Law Minister and senior BJP leader Ravi Shankar Prasad. Mr. Prasad, thank you so much for speaking to NDTV, sir. You made a passionate speech in Parliament. As an MP from Bihar, what political implications you think the passage of this bill will have on Bihar, given the fact that the elections in the state are scheduled for, perhaps will be taking place in the next 6 months, sir?
There is a basic flaw in your query, Mohtarma Maria Shakil. You are trying to confine the implications of this particular legislation only to my state of Bihar. I would say this is a great moment for empowerment of the Khawateen of the Muslim community, the Bewas, the widows, whose rights have been taken away, for which purpose the whole Waqf was created, the marginalized community of the Muslims spectrum, namely the backward Muslim, the extremely backward Muslim, the Pasmandas who are extremely backwards. I would like to begin with the very core of the issue in this debate. No mosque is going to be touched. No ibadatgah or qabristan is going to be touched. The issue is very, very simple and straight. Whether the intention of the Waqif who created the Waqf for noble purpose is being executed properly by the Mutawalli or not, who is the manager. A Waqf is not a religious body at all. It is a legal or a statutory body. And I quoted from the Mullah's Muhammadan law revised by the eminent jurist, former Chief Justice Hidayatullah, M. Hidayatullah. He is just a superintendent or a manager. He does not have any rights over the property, because once a Waqf is created, the property vests in the Allah, peace be on him. That is the core issue. You come from Patna, where I come also. Go to Dak Bangla crossing, turn left toward Gandhi Maidan. Go to the big, big buildings and the five-star hotels and the showrooms and the malls which have come up there. Most of those are Waqf lands. No? And therefore, legitimate questions I need to ask. When 8 lakh property number highest in the world Waqf property is concerned, how many hospitals have been erected? How many universities, how many schools, how many training centers, skilling centers? Nothing. Nothing. Therefore, what the Mutawallis or the managers, the issue is simple, this, and let me put it in Hindi. मैनेजर साहब की मैनेजरी ठीक चल रही है, वो वाकिफ़ के इरादों के मुताबिक वक्फ चला रहे हैं या अपने पॉकेट को गर्म कर रहे हैं, यही तो सवाल है ना. और उस पर ये हो हल्ला तमाशा बच रहा है. Not fair. We will explain them, and let me tell you, people from my state only and the entire country are going to appreciate Many of them heard me speaking around the country, as of other participants, and they were dismayed and amazed to learn there is so much of property which is being put to misuse.
Okay. Sir, you were the law minister when the triple talaq legislation came into force. At that time, the argument was similar, that this is for the Muslim women, it is for gender justice. You're also making this argument that this legislation will ensure transparency. My question is, sir, that it's your government in Bihar. The board members, or that is the Waqf board members, are nominated by the state government. Then shouldn't your government take the onus if there is corruption? You know, the question is about checks and balances. That should be done by the state government.
My point is very simple. The mechanism of transparency was just very not deep at all. Government lands are being acquired. No proper inquiry used to be done. And within the realm of Section 40 of the 2013 Act, किसी ने कहीं पर अपना उंगली रख दी, वो वक्फ हो गया. I think the whole board has every right to declare anything. Now there is a transparency. You have to give their account. हिसाब देना पड़ेगा. Your audited balance sheet has to be filed. Consequence will be there. And by the way, as far as who are the people, there are retired judges, Supreme Court, High Court, eminent persons, academician, and the Muslim woman will be also, the woman will also be from the Muslim community. Therefore, if the entire thing is being made accountable, everything online available, digitization process is there, you can see which property is where, who is the mutwalli, what is the use being put to this particular property, waqf, in terms of the intention of the waqif. So all these things are very transparent now. And if an attempt is being made, what's the problem?
Okay.
This reform was needed, Maria. Go globally and see what is the position. In many Muslim countries, there is no waqf. You know it very well. But today, waqf is there because it is something available in the Islamic law. Fine. Therefore, it must be done in a transparent manner. And the core issue, I repeat, no qabristan or masjid or place of worship of the Muslim community is going to be touched at all. The core issue is whether mutwalli, the manager of the property given by the waqif for a pious cause, is being put to that use or not.
Okay.
Or to
okay.
fatten his purse. That's the very simple core.
So my question is that BJP has been a beneficiary also of the Muslim vote bank, keeping in mind that they have supported Janata Dal United, that is your alliance partner in Bihar. And these Muslims have voted for Nitish Kumar. Are you not fearing some kind of backlash from this community? You know, JDU could face that in Bihar now.
This logic is being extended from the day Mr. Nitish Kumar has come to us. That is from 1996. The same logic, Nitish Kumar goes in the company of communal forces. But since you have raised this issue, Maria, you have some experience of India's polity and politics both. Let me take you and also to your viewers to a course of a journey which began in 1986 in the wake of Shah Bano judgment. And I said in the parliament myself, you reverse the judgment giving few hundred maintenance to an old lady. And thereafter came the whole triple talaq, again the Supreme Court judgment. And I would like to highlight here that the All India Muslim Personal Law Board told the Supreme Court, don't give any verdict. We will develop a proper nikahnama which will not permit the condition of triple talaq. They were in the forefront of opposing it. Then the Ram Janmabhoomi issue, the same thing. Then the Article 370, the same thing. The CA, the same thing. Not even a single citizenship right of a single Muslim of India has been taken away. But the larger issue is, I would like to highlight here, we were two in 1984, Mohtarma Maria Shakil, just two in 84 Lok Sabha. Where are we now today? Ruling the country in more than 21 states of the country. Nitish Kumar ji, our very proud colleague and friend, He's the chief minister for 19 years.
Yes.
This tectonic metamorphosis of India's polity, where the nature of argument is the same, secular, communal, appeasement. The world has changed, India has changed. And I would say the young people of the minority community, the others thinking community have also changed. And that change, allow that change to happen. And some people are trying to frustrate that change by the same logic of 90s and 80s. At least you don't fall prey to that.
All right, Mr. Prasad, thank you so much. Always a pleasure having you on my shows. Dr. Syed Nasir Hussain is a member of Parliament of the Congress. He joins me. We have Rakesh Sinha, former MP of the BJP, and K. Nehru is a Lok Sabha MP of the DMK. Dr. Hussain, to begin with, let me congratulate you for a very well structured and a powerful speech in Parliament. It was a delight watching you make that argument for your community, certainly. Sir, my point here is that we are looking at elections. Every legislation has political implications. What are the implications that you are sensing immediately in the state of Bihar?
Maria, I am not at all worried about the political implications of this particular bill that was brought in the parliament. This is parliamentary democracy. Government has a right to bring bills, has a right to bring reforms, has a right to amend various bills. And it is the responsibility and the duty of the opposition to show the people of the country the lacunas and the intention of the government. Here, see, I have been a member of Work Board for the past 6-7 years in Karnataka since I became MP in 2018. I have gone in very details. Even I feel that there should be reforms. Any organization, any government organization or any other organization needs reforms in our country. There will definitely be some shortcomings here and there. But the whole point is, what is the intent? I was just listening to the former law minister, and with all due respect to him, I think either he is ill-informed or he doesn't know, or he is just trying to peddle the narrative that has been created by the Sangh Parivar in this country against the Waqf board and the Waqf institution. He was saying that Muslim women are included. Very simple thing. He should actually go and check up 2013 amendments. Already 2 Muslim women are there. 2 Muslims have been there with me for the past 7 years in the board. Every board there are 2 Muslims. There's nothing new in that. He was talking about transparency. I didn't understand what transparency he wanted. What was that is intransparent? He was talking about digitalization. There is already in 2013, same words were used and a portal was created called the Wamsi portal. Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi has made it clear in a public statement that 100% digitization has been done. To answer to a start question in Rajya Sabha, the government has said that 100% digitization of work properties has happened. This was reported in 2023. And now, tell me, they are saying they are going to digitize, which is already done. They say 2 women should be there, which is already done. They say that transparency, that is already there. They say they are creating audit system. There are already audit system, audit department is there in the work board, in all the work boards, and the state government, they are all appointed on the auditors of the work board are appointed by the state government, by the list that is prepared by the state government. Forget about these things. What is more important is, what is the intent of this government? He was saying Qabristan will not be touched, Eidgah will not be touched, and Masjid will not be touched, Dargah will not be touched. Fine, that's, I don't have any problem in that. But the whole problem is, why are you eyeing on the properties of the work board? Why are you eyeing on the land bank that the work board has? You are saying that work board has largest number of properties in the entire world. They don't even know that work board in our country doesn't own even single acre, single inch of land in this country. They are not the owners of the work properties. They are only custodians. The owner is the particular waqf of owner is the particular committee of that waqf in that village or that town. Work board is not the owner. 2, they want to build up that narrative. See, वक्फ बोर्ड कितना प्रॉपर्टीज, कितनी जमीन हड़प लिया, इतना ये 8 लाख प्रॉपर्टीज है, 8.5 लाख प्रॉपर्टीज. अरे see, if you put together the properties of the endowment boards of the Muzrai departments all over the country, they would be definitely more 50% more than the what Waqf board has. See, it depends upon the number of people of a particular community staying in a particular country. He said there is no Waqf board in Muslim countries, in non-Muslim countries. UK has a Waqf board, Singapore has a Waqf board, Malaysia has a Waqf board, Indonesia has a Waqf board. All Muslim countries have Waqf, different Waqf institutions. Waqf is integral to Islam. This is something which was started by Prophet Muhammad. They say non-Muslim cannot do Waqf. They don't know that one of the first few Waqfs that were done by Yahudis, even during Prophet Muhammad's time, non-Muslims have donated to, they have done Waqf in Saudi Arabia. See, they don't know the history, they don't understand Waqf, they don't understand the technicalities. They have just peddled a narrative in this country because they wanted to have a polarization.
Rakesh Sinha,
after 2024.
I would expect you to respond to that, but before that, let me bring in Mr. Nehru here, because MK Stalin's stand has been similar to other parties in the India bloc. He, of course, understands that there is a voting constituency which he has to cater to. But in Tamil Nadu, Mr. Nehru, there are several cases of Waqf, unlawfully acquiring land. If the government of the day says that this is more of a legislation which has to do with land reforms rather than interference in the religious functioning of a board, then why shouldn't land reforms happen?
Good evening. So just to answer and to take the narrative from the seniors who have answered this show, just more of a, othering of our people. It's not about community. Of course, the ruling party would like to make it as a community, but please understand that this particular issue, I think I would have, appreciated the BJP if they have taken the moral high ground and basically passed laws in UP separately and Bihar separately, because land is a state subject. And I'll come to the second point, ma'am. The number of properties, of Waqf properties in the country are highest in UP and Tamil Nadu. Why is Tamil Nadu having, very less issues and more number of Muslim institutions compared to Uttar Pradesh? Is it something else? Or it's the grand idea of BJP to find a common enemy, to unite their voter base. So I think all of this put together, the bill being presented in Parliament at 2 a.m. in the morning, where more than 270 members are above 55 years of age, just pushes the narrative that they are trying to work hard, but ultimately they are tiring the people and the members of a good discussion. What was the urgency to do it at 2 a.m. without any discussion? I mean, of course, they have a discussion saying that it went on for 17 hours. But let's just understand this point, that the government cannot have a moral high ground saying it's for properties. And in the speech in which Mr. Honorable Kiran Rijiju said, it is after the railways and the Indian Army that Waqf is the largest holder of properties. So what? It is the faith of person who had ensured that their faith continues and they are well-wishing for the next generation to continue. What is the government to do anything with this at all? And historically, ma'am, whenever the government has tried to interfere in faith, historically, with any government, it has never gone well and it has never finished well, irrespective of faith, irrespective of region. So I think the BJP is just trying to have a narrative saying that it unifies people, but ultimately what it does is it questions the very faith of certain people who have decided that they will part with their earnings, they will part with what they have for the next generation to continue the faith and for the humanity to grow. So right now, they are doing an economic blockade of that very particular faith. And what happens is it will not continue to the next generation. And we will not accept this irrespective of any faith anywhere in this country. Okay. So I don't think they can take any moral high ground.
You are essentially trying to economically weaken the minorities is the charge which is coming in from the DMK. Rakesh, a response from you, and then I go back to Dr. Nasir Hussain.
Both of the people have given their own arguments, but arguments are self-betraying. Amit Shahji has categorically made the statement that this amendment has nothing to do with the religious aspect of the Waqf. This amendment is unambiguously related to the administrative aspect, that is the civil law of the land. What is that? There are three important reforms in the Waqf. First reform is that proper management of the Waqf property. Shashwat Committee, which was formed by the UPA government in 2011, has given a report. In that report, it said that out of 1.2 lakh crore property of the Waqf, I don't have in gauge of this 1.2 lakh crore. The property of the income of the Waqf is only 163 crore. This is recorded. This is the report of the Shashwat Committee. It calculated that the minimum income should have been 12,000 crore. Maria, my mathematics is not so strong. I hope that your mathematics is very strong. You can guess that what is the difference between 163 crore and 12,000 crore. If the income is increased to 163 crore to 10,000 crore, 4,000 crore, 1,000 crore, that is not going to benefit BJP. That is going to benefit the Muslim divorcees, Muslim orphans, Muslim common people. Those who are being challenged in the community, because the community elites have been ruling this country as a part of the ruling pseudo-secular